Well, hello, and welcome to Opal City Media Club, Episode 1, John Carpenter's Starman. So, folks, I'm joined by Kirby. Say hi, Kirby.
Hi, Ross. Thanks for bringing me on for the first episode here.
Oh, yeah. So this is we'll pop in and out with these film club or media club as Steve, follower of the podcast, suggested, because I could do other things like Bobo. Benetti had some neat things that he talked about in his first appearance, and I'm going to do an episode about that, about the music and films and things that kind of he likes. And also I'm going to kind of go back and look for things that Jack mentioned. So if you ever see something like a film Jack mentions, or a book, or a singer, send me suggestions, and we'll fiddle around with those, because I think that's kind of a good Starman adjacent thing, because there's a lot of pop culture in Starman. So how you doing, Kirby?
I helped a friend move yesterday, Ross, so I'm feeling a little beat up, but I'm here to talk about a good John Carpenter movie, so things aren't all bad.
So I've thought about, when I first started thinking about doing other Starman, when I discovered these really bad Japanese movies where the main hero is Starman, which we will be covering. I've got to find someone who's actually seen them other than me. But I knew I was going to do John Carpenter's Starman. The minute that Kirby reminded me that it existed, I'd forgotten all about it. And he brought it up, which is stupid.
When you started Opal City Confidential proper, my own smartass said, well, you got to talk about this movie at some point, Ross.
Well, yeah, what gets me is Jeff Bridges is one of my absolute favorite actors. Absolute. He is always amazing in everything he does. He's a great... I like The Big Lebowski. It's not even in my top 5 of Coen brother movies, maybe. It is, probably. But, it's not my favorite movie. It's not my favorite Jeff Bridges movie. I think this is one of my favorite performances. I do like his Rooster Cogburn.
Yep.
I like his what is it? Ichabod? What is the bad guy in the Iron Man movie? Stane.
Obadiah Stane?
Obadiah Stane. I really liked him in that. He was malevolent. I want to see his Fox show where he's a spy with the dogs.
Okay. Hell or High Water's really good, where it's him just kind of continuing to be a cowboy again, which I like.
I like him as a cowboy. He's great, and this is his. We'll talk about that, but he's great in the Great Last Picture Show, where he got an Oscar nomination.
Okay. Yep.
He's the Incredible Baker Boys, where him and his brother play the piano, lounge pianists, which was very weird to see them. He's a musician. I didn't know Bo was, But I'm a big Jeff Bridges fan, and I'd forgotten about Starman, and we'll talk about it, but it has one of my favorite lines in any movie all time. So when was the first time you saw this, Kirby?
So I think I sort of saw this in college. I want to say it was Gary, the owner of the comic shop at WVU. He said, Kirby, you like Jeff Bridges? Yes. Do you like Karen Allen? Yes. Do you like John Carpenter? Yes. Well, here's Starman. You'll like it.
Yeah.
And even though it's very atypical Carpenter, it's still a really good one.
Yeah, and that's kind of what I talk about, because I'm pulling up Carpenter's resume, because I don't remember where this falls in his filmography.
It's like right after The Thing. So
really?
Yeah, so it's like The Thing bombed. So it's like, well, maybe I need to pivot and do I can do more. Well, this is still clearly a sci-fi movie, but romance films or something like that, or just like more straight dramas.
It's so many things. So the basic synopsis is, we sent Voyager into space. It runs into, or it encounters this orb-like spaceship that is completely reflective. I forgot about that. And when we talk about effects, I want to talk about that effects, because it's a beautiful shot. The opening shot is absolutely fucking gorgeous. And the concept, I like that. But it listens to the radio. It sends one of its probes down. It gets shot down by, it's the 80s, folks. It's Cold War. Height of the Cold War. Yeah. In the 80s, where the Cold War was very much on everybody's mind. There are a lot of movies set in this antagonism with us and the Russians. So anything flying in our airspace, we're going to shoot it down. They shoot it down, and the alien, whatever its native form is, we never really kind of see, takes the shape of Karen Allen's dead husband in front of her, and then they have to go on a road trip because he has 72 hours to get to the rescue point to be saved by his people. But unbeknownst to Karen Allen's character and the alien, played by Jeff Bridges, is the government's hot on their trail already. And the government is represented by the other two co-stars, Charles Martin Smith, which my wife was like, who is that? I know him. And I said, I knew exactly who it was. And Richard Jackal, who is always fun to see Richard Jackal in a movie. And it's just basically a road movie where they're being chased, and it's a love story. Mm-hmm. It's a very sweet love story. He really hits that. So he definitely pivoted from his, I don't want to say macho in a bad way, but it's very action packed, very people fighting for their lives, fighting bad guys, fighting monsters. You know what I mean? To a genre, a romance and chase movie wrapped up in a genre setting.
Very well put.
And you know what? I will say it's, which has been done before, because I don't know how familiar you are with Planet of the Apes. Have you seen the original Planet of the Apes?
Oh, God, millions of times, yeah.
Okay. When I was a kid, I hated Escape from Planet of the Apes.
Oh, see, that's...
But I saw it as an adult, and I went, wait a minute, this is just a thriller, except the heroes are monkeys.
Yep.
That is all it is. And it's pretty good. It's better than the second one.
Oh, real quick. 1, 3, 4, 2, 5 for the original Planets for me, so...
Yeah. I've not seen the modern ones, but my buddy Ken has recommended I should watch them. He says they're pretty good.
I'm not a big fan of the first one, which I think is Rise, but Dawn and War are both really good. And if Andy Serkis wasn't behind CGI, he probably would have gotten like a Best Actor for the third one. So.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I'm looking forward to this. But let's talk first about a little bit about John Carpenter. I think everybody who's listened to either of my podcasts knows The Thing is one of my top 5 favorite films. Me and my wife went and saw it on our honeymoon because we got married in October. So the local we have a 1920s movie house called The Bird, and they show scary movies in October. And The Thing was on, and I made her watch it with me as part of our get to know your new boyfriend. This is one of his favorite movies. Mm-hmm. And she loved it. I'm not sure if she saw it first in the theater. I may have made her wait, because I hadn't seen it in theater in 30, 40 years. So that, and I own It's Lived. I'm not a big Halloween fan, but I know his Halloweens are the good ones. Yeah. And even his bad movies I love. I'm a huge fan of Assault on Precinct 13.
That's a real good one that I just saw for the first time, I think, last year.
Yeah, that's at the beginning, but I mean...
Big Trouble in Little China is, that one was, again, one I didn't see until college, and The Fog, very underrated for me, I think.
I've never seen it.
Ooh, I really like it. I won't spoil anything for you, Ross, but anything with Adrienne Barbeau is like the star, and I always like her, especially in his movies, so definitely a recommend.
All right, I'm looking at something real quick. It's like, wait a minute, I don't know this. His last movie, The Ward, starring Amber Heard, the girl that played Killer Frost on Flash.
Wait, what?
Yeah, it's his last film. It's called The Ward. It came out in... When the hell was this released? 2010.
That's one thing with Carpenter. His 90s era, well, there are some good films. It just kind of killed his career, unfortunately, and yeah.
Some of those I love. There are some of those, there are a couple near the end where I've not seen his version of Village of the Damned, but it's got Christopher Lee in it. It's probably pretty good. Mouth of Madness is a little too much for me. Memoirs, is that the Chevy Chase comedy?
Chase
oh my
one,
God!
Yeah.
Ugh!
I forgot he did that.
See there, it's like he has a stretch. I mean, he does Dark Star, Assault on Precinct 13, Halloween, The Fog, Escape from New York, The Thing, Christine, Starman, Big Trouble in Little Chinatown, Prince of Darkness, which is good. I like Prince of Darkness. They Live, which is a masterpiece of comedy. In the Mouth of Madness.
I kind of like that one, but
I'm not. Those are movies that freak me out. Okay, and then it's Escape from L.A., which is neat to see Snake back.
It's okay.
It's okay. I like Vampires with James Woods.
Vampires is one that I have gone back and forth, but right now I'm definitely on the like side on that one.
It's so, and then Ghosts of Mars is so B. It's like, was it intentionally B movie? But it's Ice Cube in a John Carpenter science fiction movie. I kind of liked it. I've never seen the award, but this was. I want to look. I don't know what kind of awards he's ever gotten. I like this in Wikipedia. It's got a chart of his reoccurring collaborators. But we're right in the sweet spot of him as a director. He is at the highlight of his career. He is respected by the industry and artistically because even though he's doing genre, it's better than everybody else's genre.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like everybody else is emulating him. I'm trying to see what awards he has because I want to see. I'm trying to pull up the awards for this movie. But this was the movie that got Oscar nominations. I mean, Jeff Bridges is nominated for an Oscar nomination.
Which makes sense. Was Karen Allen? I kind of hope she was, but
I'm not sure.
So I always think of Karen Allen as Katie from Animal House, which is just kind of where my point of view is coming from. So
I'm more Indiana Jones.
Well, right, and that's the better role. But I've seen Animal House more.
Oh my God. I'm just looking. Let me look at Starman because that's got to have the different awards that it came up with, awards and honors. This movie. Here we go. Jeff Bridges was nominated for Best Actor, making Starman the only film by John Carpenter to receive an Academy Award nomination. Bridges was also nominated for the Golden Globe for Best Actor, Drama, and awarded the Saturn Award for Best Actor. Karen Allen also received a Best Actress nod for the Academy of Sciences Fantasy and Horror Film. Academy of Science Fiction, Fantasy, and Horror Films. The film itself was nominated for Best Science Fiction Film. Jack Nietzsche's received a Golden Globe nomination for his score. It was on the AFI's Top 100 Films and 100 Passions? Oh, for Love Stories.
Okay, yeah, I remember those, yep.
For Passions. Not seeing which one it was, but that's great. See, it is a top 100 love story film in a lot of ways. I think that's very neat. That's a good award to have. And top 100 and AFI's top 10 science fiction films.
Oh yeah. I remember watching those specials a lot, like in early high school.
Yeah, some of them I'm like, you had to put down the pipe. Some of that stuff's shit.
Oh no, trust me, I could go down the list, but that's a whole
well.
I'm
looking at the list, and it's number. What's not in?
Was it maybe just nominated?
Maybe it was nominated for it because number one's 2001. Then Star Wars, E.T., Clockwork Orange, Day the Earth Stood Still, Blade Runner, Alien, Terminator 2, Judgment Day, Invasion of the Body Snatchers, 1956.
Man, I got some. Don't get me started on some of those.
Yeah. No. It's kind of, we all have different ones we like. But let's talk about the movie. So you saw it when you were introduced by the guy in your comic shop. What was your first reaction to it? Because it's a very 80s movie.
Like my memory, and again, the weird thing is I had not seen it in the decade since plus, and it was like, okay, this is a good. I just want to kind of relax and watch. This is a good movie. Just relax. There's not, even though there's a lot of tension, there's not it's not nihilistic tension like you could get with The Thing. So that's it's a nice little breather from movies like that. And again, Jeff Bridges, Karen Allen, they have wonderful chemistry throughout this whole film. And what's Charles Martin Smith, I always think of as the accountant who gets shot in the elevator from The Untouchables. So I always like seeing his stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
We were going through the credits because my wife asked, who's that? It's Charles Martin Smith. You've seen him. He looks familiar. He's in this. And then I realized that he went on to direct Air Bud.
Oh, wow. He did those? Okay.
He made a lot of bad movies.
Oh, sure.
Air Bud's basically the good one. I like Charles Martin Smith. I like him in this movie.
Yes.
I saw this in the 80s and thought it was a beautiful movie. I think it is a beautiful, simple. John Carpenter knows how to direct action. He knows how to direct science fiction. He knows how to direct the chase scene and all that. But Jeff Bridges and Karen Allen are just wonderful together. Mm-hmm. And I think I would have nominated her for Best Supporting Actress in this. When she's just, and I forgot there's this whole thing where she's still trying to escape him. And then I forgot about the sweet waitress, all these nice people that they run into that just help them.
Right. And the tension, I forgot, that goes on for far longer than I had originally remembered. I thought it was like in the first 20 minutes she had flipped to, but it's not almost an hour in before she kind of warms up to him because, she was straight up kidnapped, however you want to look at it. And Jeffrey, he is just like he is doing very well at being a creepy. I'm not human. I don't understand. I'm trying my best to replicate
it never comes off as really creepy. It comes off as he only understands every other word. It's
right.
At the beginning, and it's slow.
Mm-hmm.
Well, let's start at the beginning. One, the spaceship.
Yes.
Let's kind of go through some of it. In order. So I want to talk about the opening. The opening is very 80s. It's very Aliens. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That they all did that kind of opening. I just watched a movie that came out a few years ago with Kristen Stewart called Underwater.
Okay.
Which I think is an underrated science fiction movie. It starts, there's no build-up. You don't meet the people because basically the people work in an underwater oil rig. Something happens, and the rig is compromised, and they have to fight for their lives. And it does have a bit of a horror element toward the end. Like it goes from just being, we need to find a way to save our life, to something more. And it's amazing. And it had that kind of alien opening credits with just simple text, music, and then going. But I love it's big. Voyager was a big deal. We went further. We did the grand tour. We start to see what the outer part of our solar system and outer space looks like for the first time. And it was like another boom, like interest in the space program. So you see Voyager go into the spaceship, and I love the spaceship because it's just a globe, and it is so big that it has a ring around it. That's attracted debris that is now orbiting it as a ring. And it's completely translucent. I mean, it's completely reflective. So when you see it at the end of the movie above the great Arizona meteor crater, the bottom is a reflection of the crater, and the top half is a reflection of the sky.
Which is just a beautiful shot.
It was. I don't know if the version has been remastered or they redid the effects. I don't think they redid the effects. I think whenever they remastered it last, they did a really good job.
Yeah.
They probably have remastered it for 4K.
Yeah.
In the last few years, and that may be what is on Netflix, which is where I watched it.
Yep, same here.
It was beautiful. It's a beautiful effect. But there was some really, and it also still had practicals. Kirby and me were texting a little bit when he was watching it, and you were talking about the practical effect with the alien comes down and finds a piece of Jack is the main character, the dead husband's name, a clip of his hair that's in a scrapbook, and builds a clone, and My wife was really grossed out by it.
Yeah.
It was really fucking gross. Because it looks really fake compared to modern special effects. But then it was top of the line, and I like that it is still a practical effect.
Absolutely. It was giving me a lot of American Werewolf in London vibes in that scene in particular.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
For some reason, this scene I completely blocked out. I blocked out in the decade plus since I had seen it the first time. I'm like, this is the most Carpenter scene in the whole film. How did I forget this?
Yeah, it is it is absolutely the most Carpenter thing. Because it works. Because when he stands up and turns around, as in his copy of Jack's body, and Karen Allen, they're so good. Her look of fear and grief. You know, because we catch her, she's drinking wine and she's upset.
Mm-hmm.
She's grieving. So this alien taking her husband's form, it's got to be the most painful thing in the world. It's like, we've all experienced grief in some way, but to imagine have someone you love come back and it not be them, especially right after they've died, or like, we don't know how long it's been.
Yeah,
other than
I was trying to watch, and I was trying to get an idea, and I don't think we're given I would say less than a year is where I was kind of thinking, but I don't know if that's stated anywhere in the movie.
No, I think it's supposed to have been enough time to where they maybe need to be over it.
Yeah.
So I think it's within a year. I think it's fresh grief.
Yeah.
But it's far enough along that she knows you need to get some sleep. You have to go to bed.
Yeah.
You know, because I mean, grief, because there's, you know, you get to see the home movies, and when he's singing, oh my God.
Oh.
Dream. Dream, I think it's just called Dream of Me. I don't know what I can't remember the real name of the song. But he's singing it to her, and Jeff Bridges could play the guitar and sing. He was a musician.
Oh, yeah.
And that just the look of love in their face in the home movie that's playing, you know, on a little screen in the living room, is how they tell you their history in 30 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
How much they loved each other, how close they were, why she's grieving so much. That simple little scene that they shot probably second unit. You know,
and that was
with an 8mm camera.
Because it was 8mm, because it was 1984. You didn't have like a little cassette or anything to put into the TV. Yeah.
I thought that was a great scene.
Yeah.
But it just starts wonderfully, and the whole time we're seeing that Richard Jackal, folks. Just Google him. You've seen him. Mm-hmm. I just rewatched Dirty Dozen. He plays the head MP in Dirty Dozen.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yep.
Yeah. And I like him. He's the head of this project that has been trying to find. They know that they know they're alien spaceships. They're just trying to catch one when when it's coming in, you know. And when Jack, the alien Jack, gets flying in, he gets shot down by fighter planes, and then Charles Martin Smith is like their extraterrestrial expert on call, and he gets called in, but he wants to communicate with them, where we find out Jackal doesn't.
Right.
You know, Jackal is he's not for a blah reason.
No.
It is, we will be insects to them.
Yes.
He really understands that they're coming from another planet. It's not gonna be good, because what did the advanced white people from Western Europe do when they came to the New World? You know, they they subjugated the primitives.
Yep.
So he sees that if a race that is more advanced than us comes and sees us as very primitive, they may not see us as a true life form.
Nope.
So that's the fear. But so the journey of Jack and Jenny is not only one of him trying to get home, her coming to grips with her grief and let go of of her Jack, but it's also the alien is learning that humans are much more complicated.
Yes.
Because he's like, we're so very different. Like Jenny goes, take me with you, and he goes, you can't. It will kill you. You would die. You cannot live where I live. I mean, I had to build this body so I could live here, or I would die. I'm only going to live 3 days in this, but it's only going to last 3 days. But he learns about love because they don't have they don't understand our concept of love and family. So everybody's on a journey, and everybody's got a reason. Even Charles Martin Smith's character, I want to meet him, I want to meet him. And then when he finally meets him, he does whatever he can to make sure that they don't get captured.
Yep.
So I loved it. What was your take on the whole overall?
So this, I just kind of want to get this thought. This was John Carpenter, like outdoing Steven Spielberg at his own game in a lot of ways. And it is a great, again, as you said, we learn. I like that we don't learn too much about Jeff Bridges' alien species, because that's not the point of the film.
No, it's not. It's about that single alien and that single woman,
yep.
Jack and Jenny, having this experience together and teaching each other something.
Yeah. So it's just so fascinating to kind of watch. I think the scene that really clinches, if you're on board for this movie or not, is there's a scene where they've been traveling and there's a hunter who has a deer on the hood of his car at a diner, and Jack at one point goes out and revives the deer from death, and you just kind of learn of he is compassionate and but just still very alien, and learning how to deal with all of these different people, and you're just become enthralled by him. And again, it's because of Bridges and Allen's portrayal that keeps you going throughout this whole movie. They're
just spot on, man. They're so good, and the guest cast. The woman who plays the waitress, who where Karen Allen goes into the kitchen and gives her the car keys, a map, all the thing that the alien's going to need to get to the great meteor crater in Arizona. But the woman, it's just this simple thing. It's not over the top 80s. It's like, oh yeah, I'll give it to him. You all right, honey? Yeah. No, I'm just going to sneak on the bus. Just help me. And there's a woman helping another woman she doesn't know what's going on, but I'm going to assist this person. Right. And then when she sees what's going on with the guys, the woman comes out, are you all right? The bus is going to leave. I can ask him to hold it. And she's like, no, and they get everything back, and she helps the wounded Jack. He's just gotten his ass kicked by those rednecks. They're just, I think it is I think Carpenter directs actors better than people think he does.
Yeah, no, I think people, unfortunately remember him more for the effects that he helped create than he does for, again, in The Thing, without those actors' portrayals, The Thing does not work half as well, if not for Carpenter's direction.
Yeah.
And, let's see. So, one of the character actors in us was one of the cops, also plays a cop in the show Brooklyn Nine-Nine. And 40 years ago, he still didn't have hair, so that kind of just amused me.
Yeah, I know it is. I saw his name. His name's Dirt Blocker. His dad was one of the stars of Bonanza. Ah. He played the middle son, the big giant one called Hoss.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Because I always liked that. I saw the credits roll. Oh, I didn't recognize him because I just know him as the old fat bald guy. But it's just so good. They're just, all the developments are good. The effects. There is the map. I did want to talk about effect when he pulls up the map on the screen of the windshield. Mm-hmm. It's very early kind of computer graphics superimposed, so its perspective is off a little bit. It doesn't really work a lot. But I'm taking it as I saw this in the theater in '84. This came out. Was I a senior in high school or was I in college? I was a freshman in college. So I probably saw this at the Biograph over on Grace Street here in Richmond, Virginia. It had an art film on one side and a regular movie on the other side. I saw Down by Law and Commando in there because they were in at the same time.
Nice.
So it really works. I mean, it just really. I think, like I was saying when I went through the list, there's this list of movies. Dark Star is very primitive. Assault on Precinct 13 is pretty primitive.
Mm-hmm.
A movie, but and maybe even like I don't want to say that about Escape from New York, but there's some cheesy stuff in Escape from New York. But once you get to The Thing, I mean, Christine he's hired. That's a hired movie.
Yeah.
That company's, we want you to adapt this, and that's a really good adaptation of a King novel.
It really is.
He doesn't fuck with it.
No.
He just leaves it the way it is. Big Trouble in Little Childtown. I think some people might go, this movie's problematic, and it's like, no. The only one who says the racist stuff is the character Jack.
Right.
Because he's an idiot.
Yeah, no.
And everybody knows he's an idiot. Even the people that like him, it says, I like you, but you're a racist idiot. You're not racist because you're mean. You're just fucking stupid.
Yeah, that movie works better when you realize all of that, and he's not the hero of that movie. He is the sidekick, and he's just the one being focused on.
Yeah. It's everybody but him because he always gets it wrong. And all the great Chinese American actors, Key Luke and all the other ones, are so good in it, and they just play off him so well. And then after that, I mean, it's Prince of Darkness and In the Mouth of Madness are two classics of 80s horror. They are well respected. I think they're as well respected as some of his others. They Live is it's a really dark dystopian future, but it's also a comedy.
Yep.
So, and has great lines. There's always one great line for everybody in a Carpenter movie. Like I'm going to say within Live, I'm just here to kick ass and chew gum, and I'm all out of gum. Love that line. There's a line I have a favorite line. Is there a favorite line for you in this movie?
I'm gonna be honest. Nothing leapt out at me, but I'm sure if I were to watch it like again, I would be like, I don't have one now. Is the short answer.
Yeah, I got to mine, and my wife was like, "Why are you laughing?" He said, "Because it's like when she's yelling at him, he doesn't know how to read the traffic signals, and he goes, yes, red means stop, green means go, yellow means go very, very fast."
Okay.
And because it's a truism. I mean, I went, yeah, that's basically right, isn't it?
Oh, I think I dealt with that yesterday.
So I just love it, and it's just I like it. I like it as a happy ending that she gives him, but they kind of fall in love. They have sex, and she has the baby that her and Jack could never have.
Right.
And he gives her the option, and he goes, if you don't want this, I can make it go away. And she's like, no. I forgot all about that scene, and it's a very touching scene.
Yep. Something that was leaping out at me, this was giving me a weird blend of like a more romantic Terminator. Just again, the way Jeff Bridges plays it, and like if you mixed the Terminator and Kyle Reese in that first movie with Sarah Connor, I feel you would get something similar to this in a lot of ways.
No, that's a good point. I haven't liked the Avatar movies. So the last few Cameron movies, the first one was, even I thought it was too long, and I like a long movie. It was beautiful. I mean, it was beautiful. It was well made. But it's just not a story I like. No. But all of his movies are love stories. Mm-hmm. Every last one of them is a love story. Reese, Terminator, Reese and Sarah. Mm-hmm. Aliens, mother-daughter, Sigourney Weaver, Ripley and Newt. And if you watch the long version of Aliens, which everybody should watch it instead of the regular
100%.
You get, yeah. Because the stuff that got cut out is incredibly important to that theme. The Abyss, again, director's cut, because it makes sense now. It's not just tacked on. But that's the love between Ed Harris and Mary Elizabeth Master Antonio.
Terminator 2.
Titanic. Terminator 2, Mother and Son.
Yep.
Titanic,
Yeah.
Jack and Rose. And there's a love story in Avatar.
Yeah.
And the second Avatar, it's the father and son, father and child. So every Cameron movie's a love story, and every science fiction.
Oh, True Lies. Husband and wife.
True Lies. Husband and wife. And he can do
Yes.
comedy, because that's an incredibly fucking funny movie.
Yep.
It's, and probably is problematic, but they are making fun of the genre.
Yeah.
But it's all love stories. So when you make movies like this, these genre films, to make what makes Starman so important of a movie, because it is an important, I mean, it's a highly regarded movie. Let's say that. It's a highly regarded movie. Is because it is about something other than science fiction. Science fiction is the framing sequence to a story about grief, about rekindled love, about learning about love when if someone's closed off to it or doesn't understand it, how do they learn about love? Even Charles Martin Smith's character's got an arc. His thing is he wants to meet an alien. He wants to set up a communication with another. He wants to make a bridge, a gap between cultures. So I think that's what this movie has that a lot of genre films don't have. So, or am I overthinking?
No. Absolutely. Like, I'm trying to remember what the best phrase was for like science fiction. Is you have to have two truths and a lie. So the love story and let's just say the road trip. Those are the truths. And the science fiction is kind of a lie, but that's by itself that would not be great. But with the other two, it makes it fantastic. And I don't even think we talked like at the beginning of the movie. We see Jack has these like 7 metal balls or whatever, magic balls or whatever, that allow him, and he uses all 7 of them throughout the whole film, and they never feel like cheats. They're to resurrect the deer, eventually resurrect Karen Allen after she's shot by the police and all that.
Yeah, I forgot all about that scene. That was really upsetting. I was like, oh my God, wait a minute. Have you seen this movie? And then it was like, good. There's enough of it I didn't remember that made it enjoyable to watch again. So I think it's a wonderful movie. I mean, I'll watch it again. He's so wonderful. There are other movies of his. I just rewatched Thunderbolt and Lightfoot, which was not very good.
No, but I enjoy that one.
If I'm going to do a chase movie and I'm going to pick in the 70s, I'm probably going to go with the Duel.
Oh, God, the Duel's really good.
Yeah, it is. I do like 70s movies, especially ones said that era movies. I do like. I mean, and I'm a kid of the 80s. I mean, I went to I came up in the 80s, so sometimes I can go back in my Wayback Machine and go, this was normally culture. I will say this, that its 80s-ness does not scream out at it.
No, and I think that's helped by it's in Wisconsin, which is you're going to have to dress in layers, and just I think possibly by the cyclical nature of fashion, I think a lot of those have kind of come around again. Because I could put together like Jeff Bridges' outfit in this movie in about 5 seconds. So, and again, the guys in suits were the guys in suits. Not a whole lot changed there drastically, like compared to like if you were looking at like a 70s leisure suit or something.
Yeah. There's nothing. Even Richard Jackal's just wearing. I mean, the cut of the suit's odd, but it's not like giant shoulder pads.
No one's rocking like an 80s perm or anything, which would.
God, no. Joan Allen has a very conservative, just natural haircut. Yep. It's so it holds up. I think that helps Carpenter in the fact that a lot of his movies can be very time stamped. That this one is not, and not in just that it's such a sweet, simple story. It's just wonderful. And I'm glad this is the first thing I'm doing for Opal City Media Club, because some of the stuff I'm going to do is going to be about bad. I'm covering those Japanese Starman movies. They're terrible. But they're 1950s horror science fiction movies, just like they're not worse than an American movie of that of genre at that time. They're doing exactly what we were doing.
Yep.
Just random shit. It's random. I've seen better costumes in an early Doctor Who. I actually thought when I saw one of the images, were they stealing images from an old Doctor Who? And it's like, oh no, that's it. So it's just, they're just silly.
So I don't know, Ross. Do you have any final thoughts before we give? How many stars would you give this movie?
Oh, I'm gonna give it 5 out of 5. Let's just do 5. 5
Same
out of
here.
5. It's a great movie. I mean, it is. It was better than I remembered it. My wife thought it was cheesy. Leslie, there were some bits that she was like, oh my God. But she was born in 1970. She was a teenager when this came out. She was 14. I bet it would have, I think it would have bugged her then too.
Yeah.
Because it's pretty cheesy. So.
Yeah. Just I guess if you have not seen this movie, definitely give it a watch. It's if you're say visiting, if you again kind of like you did, you can watch it with your significant other. You can watch it with your whole rest of the family. It's not going to be an awkward sit like if you had someone watch The Thing with you unprompted. So this is a definite high recommend from me.
Yeah. All right, folks. So hey. Since this is new, and I'm just thinking about it, recommendations. Why don't we keep it in? Let's kind of do. This is an '80s movie. What other science fiction movie that you would recommend from this era, or that this movie makes you think about?
Well, unfortunately, the two that leap to mind are the Terminator, which we had already talked about, and that's ruined for the Yankees. This would also I liked this more than Close Encounters of the Third Kind, which I guess was 8 years before or so. But I would also recommend that one as well, especially kind of the longer cut.
Yeah, I like the longer cut. I got that in Blu-ray. It's beautiful, but it's a very Spielberg movie. When I watch it now, it's like it's just. I would feel like this is someone copying.
Yeah.
Because it's got all his tropes in it. And I'm right. I mean, I would kind of put. I mean, the first Terminator is very similar to this one. But we were talking beforehand. I would say Escape from the Planet of the Apes.
Yep.
Because we've talked about that. It's that this is. Because that movie is it is a science fiction movie because apes from the future land on Earth and then have to be hunted down are hunted down by humans because they, like idiots, tell them you're this planet in the future where you guys are all primitives. I would have just gone lead with the fact your people ended up on our planet where evolution took another turn. They still would have probably tried to kill them, but you would have got a little more time. But it's a really wonderfully made 1970s thriller. It's just Roddy McDowall and Kim Hunter are in monkey suits.
Yeah.
And it's it. So.
Yeah.
All right. Well, folks, hey, thank you. That's this. We'll be back with some, not Jack, because we're going to take a little pause from Jack so I can get up to date. But we'll be back with some Will Payton next week for Opal City Confidential. And after that, in the Jack stuff, we will be covering the Shade 4-issue miniseries. So look forward to that. All right. Thank you for coming on again, Kirby. And folks, hey, remember, be safe, be smart, be kind to one another, especially if some alien clones a dead loved one. Don't freak out. And read some comic books.